There once was an Activision executive stating that Call of Duty is too big to fail. And it's said that Activision leadership believes that Call of Duty is too big to fail and will remain a profitable annual released franchise for many years to come. At the time of writing, an annual Call of Duty title is penciled in for the next 4 years at least. So, dear Activision, if that will be true and Call of Duty is too big to fail and you believe strongly in these wordings and these sayings, then you should also pay attention to that beautiful sentence that said, the bigger they are, the harder they fall. And what does that mean? Let's make this extremely biblical. Proverbs 16:18. I'm not per se a religious man, but this is where it comes from. The meaning of the passage is clear-cut. Pride leads to human humiliation. Is it better to be humble and poor than proud and rich? That's a good question, my dear viewers. And before we start, welcome to the show. My name is Movement 6. Before we start, huge thank you to everybody who subbed in the last period. And if you're new here, drop a like, subscribe, and hit those notifications buttons. So we call it in the Netherlands, hoogmoed komt voor de val. What? Yeah, that's Dutch. But it means actually that before you fall, the pride is there. You know, you accelerate in your pride just before you fall. So the question is COD indeed too big to fail? And to cut it very short, of course, Black Ops 7 will no doubt sell fine in some shape or form. But we can't ignore the steady decline of the franchise, right? Everything disappeared. We had those beautiful lobbies that now break up for recalculation of your skill-based matchmaking. And how fantastic was it, the days where lobbies just simply didn't broke up? Because you just stayed there, and if you got your ass kicked, you need to get better. And yes, smack was told in those lobbies. And I strongly believe that the meme is true, that the modern generation is not suitable or capable of actually surviving these lobbies.
What men can do when they're angry.
We have map voting, which in return was brought back. But we also got that new tracking to recalculate your next match. You know, everything you do now currently in a match is being calculated, analyzed, and eventually an algorithm is making a decision how your next match is going to be. And it's been a long time since I met people online in a Call of Duty, because eventually, when you're done, you're done. You know, yes, we now have proximity chat, but that's not the same. The question, therefore, is COD going to escape this downfall? Is Activision in a panic mode, and do they respond, and how do they respond to the BF6 success? So one of these responses is actually quite funny, because not so long ago, Activision actively wanted people to buy skins, because eventually in the Call of Duty headquarters, that would just carry over to Black Ops 6. And with the enormous backlash coming from Battlefield 6 beta and the success and the grounded and the outlook of what Battlefield 6 is going to be, they respond. They're in panic mode. This is the biggest panic mode you can have. And that's the announcement that the Black Ops 6 content won't carry forward into the Black Ops 7 anymore. That's huge, because this was the whole idea of the Call of Duty headquarters, is that shit was carried over and you can continue using your bundles and for the next few installments. So they even gave us a community update on this. So let's just get a read. You know, first, thank you. Call of Duty has always been fueled by the community. Every match, every clip, every bit of feedback. You've shaped this franchise right alongside us. That's not very true. That we've as a community, the amount of criticism on the Fortnite-ification of Call of Duty left unanswered. They even doubled down on that. The criticism on skill-based matchmaking, they even doubled down on that notion. And there are numerous of things in the community that have been addressed, have been asked for, even led to huge controversies. And eventually, Activision just didn't care about it. So there is not one single instance that we can say you've shaped this franchise right alongside us. That's not true. So let's carry on here. We know there's been a lot of conversation recently about the identity of Call of Duty. Some of you said we've drifted from what made Call of Duty unique in the first place: immersive, intense, visceral, and in many ways grounded. That feedback hits home, and we take it seriously. We hear you. Well, no, you're not listening per se to the Call of Duty fan base. You're listening currently to Battlefield Studios and Vince Zampella.
The whole team gets excited around seeing the world's reaction, and it's been like so far, like the energy in the room has been amazing. It's been such a great moment for us.
We all know Vince, our main Call of Duty man, who is now leading the pack in Battlefield. So you're listening to Vince right now because he's done something that we've been asking from Call of Duty for quite some time now. And so I don't really believe that this corporate word salad is going to excuse you from that. So, okay, we hear you. We've been heard. That's fantastic. Throughout development, Treyarch, and Raven's North Star has been to deliver a spiritual successor to Black Ops 2 while taking some big swings. You'll see it across Black Ops 7 multiplayer, zombies, co-op campaign, including endgame, and even Dead Ops Arcade 4. Yeah, sure, spiritual successor. I don't know. I've seen things from the single player right now, and it's not a spiritual successor. You're just completely screwing over everything. You're even bringing back dead guys like Menendez. What are we talking about as spiritual successor? It's Black Ops 6 and then immediately 7. It's just a spiritual successor for your bundle machine. That's what it was and always is. And now you're in panic mode and need to change something. Over the years, we've had a variety of games and experiences that fans have enjoyed, from the Modern Warfare series to the Black Ops series. True, Black Ops 2, fantastic. Black Ops, fantastic. Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3. After that, steady decline. Where were we? Oh yeah, today we wanted to share with you some of the ways we're approaching things with Black Ops 7. Here we go. What's changing and why? Operator skins, weapons from Black Ops 6 will no longer carry forward into Black Ops 7. Just imagine the foul play they're doing it. It took a couple of weeks to do this because in the 1 week they said, "Oh, just buy every skin. We're going to carry forward," and then after the beta of Battlefield, they said, "No, you know what? Yeah, screw you. If you want to use your skins and all the bundles that you've bought, you need to play Black Ops 6. We're not going to carry over in Black Ops 7. Why? Battlefield. That's why. Black Ops 7 needs to feel authentic to Call of Duty." How long did it took you to realize that this is something that we've been asking for the past 8 years or something like that? And after it took a Battlefield beta and Vince Zampella for you guys to realize this. Oh my God. This is why Black Ops 6 operator and weapon content will not carry forward into Black Ops 7. Double XP tokens and gobble gums will still carry forward because we recognize your time and progression are important. Well, okay, yeah, fine, but a good choice that it's not carrying over. But I don't believe that this is not going to exclude bundles in general from Black Ops 7. The contracts for crossovers and for bundles and for shop content have already been signed. And there's no doubt there will be some kind of sentence in there that Call of Duty eventually, for the sake of the game, has the right to maybe alter the way they bring it. And if they bring... I can't imagine that this is going to mean that we're going to have the most grounded Call of Duty since... Black Ops 2, 1, Modern Warfare 1, 2, 3. No, it's not going to happen. This is going to be the same bundle machine, but they're in panic mode and they want you to pre-order. This change only applies to Black Ops 7 Call of Duty. Warzone is not affected, and all your Black Ops 6 content stays usable there. So this is per se what really Call of Duty is today. You know, it's just Warzone focused. You will see this in the single player campaign. That's also going to be just the Warzoneification of Call of Duty. And that, yeah, I know, I hate that. You know, this whole battle royale focus is destroying multiplayer in general, and it's starting to make gaming, and especially first-person shooters, more in some kind of a Twitch, TikTok sweatfest. You know, it's time to move on, maybe, for me, because maybe I'm 46, I'm born in 1979. So, yeah, you know, I think that the direction of Call of Duty is not the direction I want a game to be headed. I'm not hating Battlefield 7 or 6, Battlefield 6 to have a battle royale mode. I didn't really like Firestorm or the one that 2042 brought, but okay, you know, if as long as it doesn't take away the focus on multiplayer and the changes we need, considering the beta, larger scale maps, and more room for jets and vehicles. Well, okay, we all know that, but okay, your feedback matters. Activision saying that your feedback matters is one of the most hilarious things I've ever seen in my life. In Black Ops 7, bundles and items will be crafted to fit the Black Ops identity. Okay, I don't know what that means. If they refer to the fact that what does that mean, actually? Black Ops 7 bundles and items will be crafted to fit the Black Ops identity. Okay, so we're taking the entire Black Ops identity in view. That means that we're going to have a grounded... Okay, we hear the feedback. We need to deliver a better balance toward the immersive core Call of Duty experience. Well, again, what you're saying here is that this only happened... If Battlefield 6 beta didn't happen and Battlefield 6 wouldn't be a thing, you would be stuck with Bundle Machine 7. You know, that's what you will be stuck with. And the reason why they're in such a panic mode and that they're trying to wrap that around, you know, your shit matters to us, it doesn't. It's just Finn Zampella has done something and we're scared. So eventually, the question is, do you actually really think that there are going to be no bundles, no Fortniteification of the Call of Duty multiplayer? No, the contracts are already in place. For the next 12 months, they've already signed the Turtles contracts, the contracts with maybe Transformers. I don't know, you know, shit, you know, that shouldn't be there. So let's just look at the pre-orders. So if we're now looking at the Steam, then I see Battlefield 6 currently on 15 top sellers. It's from a couple of days ago, but I think it's still Call of Duty couldn't be found. I believe it's 115 in top sellers, and Battlefield 6 currently sits at 15. It dropped 13, but this was after the whole beta, so the amount of pre-purchases have already been over. And if we now look at the PlayStation Store top sellers, then eventually Battlefield 6 is still on top of Call of Duty. It depends a bit on the region where you are. I'm in the Netherlands right now, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's on 6th. That's the Phantom Edition. And the Standard Edition is right there, Black Ops 7. I believe it already dropped, and that Battlefield 6 is now above it. Again, it depends a bit on the region where you are. But in all cases, Battlefield 6 is just destroying currently Call of Duty. And what I see is that Call of Duty is just not all over the place as it was in the past. If you also look at the ratio online with the trailer fights, the direct video, it doesn't make any sense. I really believe that these guys are currently view farming to increase the amount of views it has versus the amount of people liking and disliking. It doesn't make any freaking sense. And if you also go over to the social media post, they're just downright hilarious. And it's almost painful to watch that a franchise that posts something, a well-beloved, established franchise that posts something about the upcoming installment, is now in such a state that 99.9% of all responses below that post are about Battlefield 6. And don't get me wrong, I fully understand that people are trolling, people want to just troll for the sake of troll. It's the internet, it's fine. But that hasn't happened until recently. I think now, finally, Call of Duty has hit a brick wall that it wasn't a collision course for years, of course. We all knew that somewhere down the road, a Battlefield would come out. Somewhere down the road, even GTA is going to hurt Call of Duty this year. So if they're not going to get their act together, they're going to be absolutely shitted on. And the social media posts, whether you're looking at Instagram, whether you're looking at Twitter, it's just a freaking... It's mayhem. It's just a battlefield that's going on. And yes, you will have occasionally that guy that talks smack back on, if you like Battlefield, just get the freak out of here. And to an extent, he's right, but it's just so funny to see. And Call of Duty has now been boiled down to turtles, weird mechanics, and reloading animations with even roller coasters attached to your gun, turtles, American Dad, and it's just a Fortnite-ification of a game that is trying to be a live service Fortnite Battle Royale game, but it still requires you to spend $70, $80, $90 maybe on the base game, and then eventually spend a surplus of that on the bundles. And every freaking year, that's got nothing to do with being a live service game. That's got everything to do with alienate your whole player base. And eventually, there will be people buying it because there's constantly a new push of people that are going to buy Call of Duty for the first time. Then you've got fear of missing out because other people are playing it as well. They see big streamers on Warzone, and that is how that whole cycle just constantly continues. And they're even in such a poor state that if it comes down to the single-player game, I already mentioned it, we're going to bring back that people. We killed Menendez. Now bring this guy back and just call it a spiritual successor to the game. It doesn't make any freaking sense anymore. And on top of that, they recycle the same maps constantly. Now they're talking about Raid. They're talking about Hijack. I could play a Hijacked and Raid right now. Just, for example, fire up Black Ops Cold War and you got it. So they've got no ideas anymore. And I think that's actually a good thing because, as the video said, I actually think that it's good when Call of Duty is in ruins for a very short period of time. Because eventually what we want to see is a very strong first-person shooter arena where you have Battlefields, where you have Call of Duties, where you have multiple games that are all in the first-person shooters, or even Rainbow Six Siege. You know, to an extent, it's not about Rainbow right now. I do believe that they are making some weird choices in skins right now. They shouldn't take it too far. But okay, that's a different topic. But a good Call of Duty, a strong Call of Duty is good for Battlefield, and a strong Battlefield is good for Call of Duty. Because you see what happens now. As soon as Battlefield is stepping forward, Vincent Pella really hitting that mark. Beta was good. There are some criticism, concerns, true. But they've got something going on there. And immediately what you see is that Call of Duty is making changes in stopping carrying overs and those kind of things. So is it good, Call of Duty in ruins? Yes, to an extent, as long as they learn from it. And we will see a better Call of Duty, a better first-person shooter. And I sure hope that Battlefield has his shit together to deliver the game that the true Battlefield fans want, and eventually attract a new group of people that are sick and tired of Call of Duty and come over to the Battlefield community. If Call of Duty still wants to remain being Fortnite, I strongly think that they are indeed too big to fail, but eventually the player base will be different than it was. And that's up to them to decide if that's a good thing. For now, this was Movement 6. I hope you had a good time, and see you on the battlefield. Don't forget to like and subscribe.